Hey, it's Brittany Watkins here, and I am so glad that you chose to take the leap and dive in and be here today to learn this advanced tapping technique to help you literally eliminate emotional eating for good. When I say literally, my sister makes fun of me when I say it like that. When I say literally overcome emotional eating, I really do mean that. I have helped thousands of women all over the world. I have about 25,000 women that follow me on my email list who follow me specifically because I teach very, very advanced techniques that incorporate a lot of different modalities that I've learned throughout the years. I've been studying tapping for almost 20 years now, and I learned it when I was very young. I learned it when I was 15. And what I found was that regular tapping for me didn't work on my emotional eating. So I was a major emotional eater, a major binge eater. And even though tapping was helping me in all other areas of my life, I couldn't get it to solve my weight and my binge problem. And if you're here right now, you're probably experiencing the same thing. And I'm just so excited to share this with you because I've been working on this and working with this technique for more than 5 years now. And I have helped so many women completely eliminate their urge to binge. And in fact, the more you use this technique, the less you will want to binge in the future. So this is literally the type of technique that, if applied over and over again, will completely cure you from emotional eating. And I know that's a really big promise, but you're gonna have to stick around, and I'm gonna actually share with you, I'm gonna walk you through an exercise so that you can have an experience, so that you can really see the benefit and the value of this. And you know, the reason that I'm sharing this is because I want you to have it. It's hurting me. It's been hurting me to hold this in. Typically I share this information if you're on my email list, but you know, I just want more people to have the kind of freedom that I have around food. You know, I can walk into any house or any restaurant, I can be around any dessert, I can be in any situation, and I never think about eating food anymore. That is not even on my radar. And I've never done anything consciously other than tap and use this method. And a couple other methods that I teach in my work, but this is the main one that I use for binge eating. And this has been the case with so many of my students. So that's why I'm here sharing this with you. I feel like I'm being greedy holding on to this. And I want you to have this experience, and I want you to have this incredible tool. All right, so we're talking today about emotional eating, and before I get into the technique, I want to explain to you the difference between emotional eating and cravings, okay? So emotional eating is typically when you feel stressed out and you go for food, and usually it'll be junky food that will taste the best that you'll want. But even if there's like nothing in the house, like if you're on a diet or something and you go to the cupboards and there's just a can of beans in there, you'll still eat the can of beans, right? It's this overwhelming need to just put something in my mouth. It's that feeling. If you're here, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's emotional eating. Whereas cravings is different. It can feel the same way, but usually you'll be obsessing about just one thing, okay? So it'll be chocolate, ice cream, potato chips, diet soda, regular soda, you know, it'll be something in particular, and you will go to like the ends of the earth to get that thing. So you'll drive for 30 minutes out of your way just to go to your favorite store that sells that certain type of yogurt so that you can eat it, right? So in all the years that I've been working with EFT, and in the last 5 that I've been known as the expert in EFT for weight loss, what I realized that everyone was doing wrong is that they were trying to apply the same EFT technique to weight issues and to food cravings and emotional eating. And the problem is, and self-sabotage, and the problem is you cannot work with them in the same way. All of these different problems, cravings, emotional eating, self-sabotage, eating at parties, eating with friends around, eating when you're home alone, overeating, feeling guilty about eating, all of these things are separate issues, and you actually have to apply different techniques for all of these things. And so that's really what I have become a master in, and that's what now all my programs are about, is teaching you how to apply these certain techniques to each problem. So I teach my classes very similarly to the way that I train my coaches, in that I want you to understand how to use these techniques for yourself. You're a tapper, you like self-empowerment, just like I do. I'm really, really big into self-empowerment. I don't want you to have to call a coach or ask me a question every time you have a problem. I want you to be empowered and know, okay, what did she tell me? If XYZ happens, I use this technique. And if this happens, then I use this other technique. Oh, okay. And then you can start to see the difference. And so that's the way that I train all of my students, is that I teach them all of these different techniques, and they're very, very different. They all incorporate tapping, but tapping, you have to apply it in a different way. The mental and the visualization process is very different for each one, okay? And so it's important that you understand that. And you know, if you've been frustrated, if you've been trying to use tapping for your weight issues or to overcome emotional eating and it hasn't been working for you, it's because you're not using the technique properly. And when I say properly, I'm saying properly according to me. This isn't, you know, this isn't Gary Craig approved or anything like that, but you know, I just started experimenting with what worked for me. And then when it worked for me, I would experiment to see if it would work for my clients. And when it did, I developed a system where I was able to apply that to really anyone with an emotional eating or binge eating problem. And the system would work always, always, never fail me. And so, you know, that's what I've really, really specialized in this last 5 years, is teaching this system. And so today I'm going to teach you one of the parts of the system, which is the emotional eating part. And this is always the part that people are like, oh my gosh, Brittany, just give this to me because I need to know this. And you know, emotional eating obviously makes you feel super out of control. It makes you feel, you know, guilty and ashamed, and it makes you just feel like you don't really have your life together. So that's why I really want you to have this technique, because even if you just apply this technique, you can make rapid changes in your life. You can feel better about yourself. You can have way more control around food. I mean, what if literally you never had another binge again, or the next time you want to binge, you knew exactly how to trick your mind into not wanting that food anymore? And that's a really big value for me as well, which is I'm really, really big into like rapid change without much effort other than tapping. So, you know, for me, when I was really young, I was trying to overcome my food addiction and my emotional eating problem, and I realized that whatever I tried to do, I would end up sabotaging myself after 3 days. So I couldn't apply any sort of method that it took my conscious mind to apply. So I realized, and somebody taught me about the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind, and how the subconscious mind has 80% of the decision-making power in everything that you do. And so I realized that if I was gonna make progress, I had to actually trick my mind into not wanting the food anymore, because I didn't have enough willpower in order to actually apply self-discipline and not allow myself to binge when I really wanted to. Because I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I wanted to binge in the past, it was like my logical brain would go offline, and I wouldn't even remember sometimes when I binge. I just all of a sudden come back to myself, and I had polished off an entire box of cookies, or you know, a whole thing of rice-a-roni. And so, you know, my methods really revolve around you not having to do anything consciously other than apply the method. So notice when you're having the problem, apply the method, and then check your results. And then if it happens again, notice where the problem is, apply the method, check your results. That's really all that you have to do. So the only conscious willpower part of this is actually applying the method. So you gotta do that part, otherwise it won't work. So this should be really fun and easy. What I'm going to do now is I'm gonna teach you the process. So, all right, get comfortable here, and you actually don't have to have anything for this, because we're just gonna imagine that you have some food in front of you. But first, I wanna kind of set this up and give you a little bit of background and information about what this is and how it works. I created this program about 5 years ago with Dawson Church. It's called the Skinny Jeans program, and we just use basically regular EFT tapping to address certain issues around food, you know, food cravings, you know, things like that. Not feeling good about your body, low self-esteem, that kind of stuff. And what I found is that just like for me, the regular tapping wasn't working for emotional eating, and the people weren't getting the results, the rapid results that we thought that they would. And I was still struggling with emotional eating as well. And it was really, really embarrassing that I had launched this big program and, you know, people were coming to me for answers and I kind of didn't have the answer that everybody wanted, which is how do I stop eating emotionally? I knew how to pretty much solve everything else, but not the emotional eating and self-sabotage part. These are the two pieces that I didn't really know how to solve. And one of my mentors actually looked at me one day, and when I was feeling really bad about this, he said, Brittany, do you know 99.9% more about EFT tapping for weight loss than anybody else in the world? And I said, well, yes, I have been studying this my entire life. And he said, okay, then what are you waiting for? And so that really gave me the courage to go, you know what, I do know, I don't maybe have the answer to everything, but I know enough to help so many people, and I don't want to hide my talents or my skills anymore. And so what I did is I took all my psychology books and I actually moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is actually where I am right now. We're in my house in Playa del Carmen. And I took this advanced group through a 4-month-long program, and I said, you know what? I don't know exactly what this program is going to be, but I'm going to teach you everything that I know about this. And I think it's going to take about 4 months of us meeting every week. And I had all my tapping and all my psychology books with me, and it just ended up becoming one of the best programs that I ever created. And what happened was through that process of me teaching these techniques, I was clearing out my own residual issues around emotional eating. And so one day I was getting ready to teach a class, and I can't remember what it was about, but I found myself wanting to eat chocolate. And I just had this moment where I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a fraud. You know, I don't want to eat chocolate when I'm about ready to talk about tapping for weight loss. And so what I did is I pushed it away, and I immediately asked myself a series of questions, and I feel like the whole process came to me very intuitively. And after about 10 minutes of tapping and asking myself this series of questions, I looked down at the chocolate and I had no desire for it, like zero, which had never happened to me before with tapping. I could usually calm my anxiety about something, but I couldn't fully get down to a zero to where I wouldn't want the food anymore. I'd always go back and eat it later. So you've probably had this same issue as well. Anyhow, got it down to a zero. I was like, what the heck? That's amazing. But is that just me? And so I started using it with my clients, and they started getting the same results as well. And so what, and curing their binge eating, curing their emotional eating, never to come back again. And if it does come back, just use the technique and then it goes away. So that's the technique that I'm about to teach you right now. And I just kind of wanted to set that up so that you understand kind of how this process works. This is sort of an intuitive process, and I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And what I want you to do is I want you to just go with the very first thing that comes up. So as I walk you through this process and I ask you the questions, just notice if you feel an answer, you might see an answer, you might just kind of know what the answer is intuitively. Most people, even my doctors and lawyers and very, very logical people that aren't really into spirituality, will come up with an answer right away. So I just want you to allow your subconscious mind and just really trust your instincts here, because they are always right with this process. Okay. So let's get into the technique. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're in a situation that you typically would typically cause you to eat emotionally. So maybe you're stressed out at work, maybe you're home all alone, maybe you just got in a fight with your partner, whatever that is for you, I want you to put yourself there, okay? So close your eyes and imagine that you're there right now. And I want you to feel the anxiety in your body, and I want you to make the anxiety even stronger, okay? So do whatever you can. Make the kids scream louder, or be even more alone, or whatever that is. Just make the feeling even stronger. And now imagine that you have something delicious in front of you, and tell me what your desire is for this thing on a scale from 0 to 10. So what is your desire to eat the food? So you could probably feel yourself like going like this towards the food. You can feel yourself being drawn and wanting to put that food in your mouth, because you know as soon as you put the food in your mouth, you'll calm down and you'll relax, because your brain releases all these happy chemicals, right? So this is why emotional eaters eat, because they feel stressed, they don't know how to deal with the stress, and then the food actually deals with it for them. So if the food's in front of you, what's your desire for it? Now, next step is to take the food and push it arm's length distance out in front of you. So literally push it out arm's length distance, sit back, start tapping on your karate chop point. Feel the bad feeling. This is gonna feel really, really bad, okay? So close your eyes, and I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to tell me the very first thing that comes to your mind. How old are you right now? Go with the very first thing that comes up. Now see yourself at that age, okay? See yourself at that age over here, wherever she is, here she is. Start tapping through the points, and I want you to start walking over to her. Take a few steps closer to her. Get closer and closer and closer to her until you can actually step inside her body, open your eyes, take a look around, and tell me what's going on, even if you think you're making it up. So keep tapping through the points, as you do this, it's gonna calm your anxiety, but you're probably feeling something really, really stressful right now, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to be in your body as best you can. Now, sometimes people won't be able to get in their body because the thing that happened is just so painful and so stressful. And if that's the case, then just take some more time to tap until you can get closer and closer and closer into stepping inside that body, okay? So you can pause the video right here and do that, or you can just keep following along. All right, so keep tapping through the points, and I want you to feel everything that's going on for you. So you might notice that there's an emotion or something that's up that's the strongest right now. So as you tap through the points, I want you to just feel that feeling. And for some of you, it might help you to stay in your body if you actually say out loud some words here. So you could say something like, that's not fair, it wasn't right, how could you? Something that relates to this. Or you could just say all this fear or all this sadness. And the cool part is here, you don't have to actually be here for very long. We don't need to get you down to a 0. There's no 0 to 10 scale on this at all. I just want you to tap through the points until you notice your body kind of relax or take a little breath. And you'll know when the right time is. Usually it's about 15 to 30 seconds. It happens a lot faster than you would think. So just really, really allow yourself to feel this emotion fully, knowing that this is the very last time you will ever have to feel this way. And keep tapping through the points. Good, and then when you notice your body kind of take a breath or relax a little bit, I want you to step out of your body and then be the adult that you are now and step inside this movie with the younger version of you. And as you tap through the points, I want you to pick her up and put her in your arms and just tell her whatever it is she needs to know about this scenario. So maybe it's that everything is gonna be okay. Or maybe it's, hey, you know what, come with me, let's get you out of this shitty situation. Or, you know what, I'm gonna protect you and I'm gonna be safe. Or, you know what, this is really shitty right now, but your life gets so much better from here. So whatever it is, you're gonna know intuitively what your little person needs to know right now. And as you tap through the points, I want you to just take a couple minutes to talk to her and to tell her and soothe her. Give her whatever it is she needs. If she needs to get out of that situation, take her to your house where you know she's gonna be safe. If she needs angels all around her, if she needs you to be there to sleep next to her every day, do that for her as well. Give her whatever it is she needs right now. This will probably be in a really emotional process for you too. A lot of people get really emotional during this period, so I just want you to know that that's totally okay. And if you're crying and you're releasing emotions that have been stored inside your body for a very, very, very long time. And the healing process is happening right now, and that's beautiful. And you can stay here for as long as you want. Some people want to have really long conversations with their younger selves because they haven't really done this before. But just for the sake of teaching you in this video, I want to tell you the next part now. So the next part, I want you to just take a deep breath, and you can stop tapping for a minute. But stay here with the younger version of you. You can maybe have her on your lap and just like with your arms around her, cuddling her, or maybe she's just sitting right next to you and you just know that she's safe and she feels safe with you. And so really just feel her next to you. And now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you are surrounded by angels. And for me, I love angels. I work with angels regularly. I imagine 2 huge golden angels surrounding me and my younger self. But if some people if angels don't really work for you, which they don't work for some people, you can use light. And I want you to imagine these angels, or this light, is surrounding the both of you. And just feel how safe and how protected you are in this comforting embrace. I imagine their angels, my angels' wings, just wrapping me up and just holding me really tight. And just feel as the angels and as the light is just so accepting of you. I want you to feel how safe and comforted and protected you are. Now what we're going to do is we're going to imagine this brilliant white light is coming down from the sky. This brilliant light is now washing away all that's no longer serving you. So just feel as this brilliant white light comes trickling down and clearing out all that's no longer serving you. Any thoughts, any emotions, any beliefs, any stuck energy, whatever it is, just intend for this brilliant white light to clear you out. So feel it going through your body, your energy body, and look down at her and see the white light going through her body and her energy body. And just feel as it's just washing away everything that's going on inside of you. And then the ground is becoming a huge vacuum cleaner, and it's slurping it up into the ground. So just continue to feel this brilliant white light clearing out, cleaning you, your energy body, clearing you so quickly, so fast, every single cell, going through every single cell of your body, clearing out all that is no longer serving you. Feel how clean you feel, and feel how great it feels to have this ground that just loves to receive yucky stuff, because it turns it into fertilizer, which makes beautiful things later on. So just feel as this ground is like, ooh, just give me your yucky stuff. And it's just slurping it up. And now feel as you'll probably take a breath, because that'll feel really good. And so just feel as you release this, how good you feel. And then look down at the little you, and we're gonna shrink her down into little teeny tiny bite size. Pick her up, put her in your heart, and feel and imagine as she grows up inside of you. So feel her get bigger and bigger and bigger, and older and older and older, until she becomes you, as the adult that you are right now, with this new understanding and this new way of seeing that situation. Now go ahead and take a nice deep breath, and let's test our results. So see, again, go back to that same situation that was triggering you to eat emotionally, and again, put yourself in that body, think about what's going on, look down at the food in front of you, and notice what your desire for it is now on a scale from 0 to 10. Most people will collapse a major part of their emotional eating in just one round of this, but sometimes it takes up to 3 rounds of doing the same thing. So if you still have any desire for the food, even if it's a 2 or a 3, what I want you to do is feel the desire, and then again, push the food away and start this technique over from the beginning until you get down to a 0. I promise, if you do this, and if you apply this every single time you want to eat emotionally, and you know you're not really hungry, you will, over time, as long as you keep repeating the process, you will completely cure your binge eating forever. It won't come back. I think for me, it came back once when I moved. Sometimes with major life events, I'll feel like, for me, it didn't come back through food, it came through alcohol. I moved to Spain, and I was really unhappy living in Spain. And I noticed that I was going to this wine bar kind of at night a lot. And after about a week of doing that, I was like, I wonder if there's something going on here. And I used this process to push the wine away. I realized that there was some loneliness. I was missing girlfriends from the States. I just did the technique one time, and it never came back in the same way. So with this process, you can totally heal your life and heal this problem for yourself. All right, so if you like this technique that I just showed you, I have something really powerful for you, okay? It's my 6-week program, and it's actually filled with 6 of the most powerful techniques to help you overcome food cravings, emotional eating, self-sabotage, and pre-verbal childhood trauma that relates to overeating now. So you guys, I went so deep on this. When I figured out that traditional tapping wasn't gonna work for me, I just racked my brain. I took all my psychology books down to the beach in Playa del Carmen. I moved to the beach, and I just researched the crap out of this, and I practiced with all of my clients. And what I realized is that I came up with a series of techniques
that allowed me to push food away even when I was right in the middle of a binge. So I don't know if you've struggled with emotional eating or not, but if you've ever had emotional eating, oh my gosh, you know that it is so hard to stop yourself when you start. And there was no amount of tapping for me that could ever make me stop eating. And so what I did one day is I was doing it myself, and I was inspired with a certain series of questions to ask myself. And I went through this process, and in about 10 minutes, I was able to push that food away from me. I wasn't deprived at all. I didn't even want the food anymore. I did some tapping, but I did tapping in a very, very different way than what I was taught in traditional tapping. And it worked. And I did it over and over and over again. Every time I wanted to binge, I just did that technique. I didn't want the food anymore, and then I started just dropping weight. And now it's been 5 years. I've been completely binge free. I have not had one binge in 5 years. I have not had to put any conscious amount of effort into it whatsoever other than applying the tapping. So I cannot say enough about this program. That's just one of the aspects that's in this program. The other really big problem that I had to solve was the self-sabotage. And you know, if you're anything like me, as soon as I start to see results, I would end up totally sabotaging myself later. And so what I did is I discovered that self-sabotage has nothing to do with the amount of willpower that you have. It has everything to do with the relationship that you have with your parents, which is pretty crazy. And so there's a certain way that I work with this parent-child family relationship that helps to eliminate this self-sabotage, which sounds crazy. It doesn't sound like those things would ever work together, but it's really, really powerful how it works. And so this 6-week program, I normally sell on my website for $1,000. We do give a discount of $499. But today, because you watched this video and because I know you're a tapper, I'm gonna give you a special offer of $149. Now, you will never see this offer ever again. This is literally the only place that you will ever be able to buy this program, this very powerful program that people pay all the time $500 and $1,000 for. This is the only place that you'll be able to find it for $149. I'm gonna tell you what's in it, okay? The first module is all about food cravings. Kick your cravings to the curb. You'll also learn a secret finger tapping spot so that if you're out in public, you can literally like tap on these certain points on your fingers and eliminate your food craving, okay? You'll also in that module get a morning tapping routine that will just like totally set you up to have the most amazing day. And a lot of people say that this just helps their binging like go way down. All right, module 2 is supercharge your willpower. This is where you're gonna learn how to overcome this self-sabotage that you always do. You're gonna learn one of my most powerful methods that I literally don't ever talk about in any free video. You have to buy a program in order to learn this technique, because that's how powerful it is. If I just gave this away for free, nobody would buy anything, and then I would be having to do something else for work, and you guys wouldn't want that. All right, so we're also going to talk about the third chakra in this module, because it's your power center. So if you know anything about the chakras, these two things are really connected. So, you know, what I love about this technique for self-sabotage is that this isn't just about food. So think about, if you don't sabotage yourself with food anymore, you don't sabotage yourself with your relationships. You don't sabotage yourself with your work. Some of our students will start to make more money. Actually, a lot of our students start to make more money. They start to have better relationships. They start to get along better, you know, with the people around them. They start to actually go after their dreams, things that they've just been talking themselves out of, that they're like, oh no, I can't do that, or you know, I don't know how. They finally step up and go, you know what, I'm gonna do this. They quit jobs. Sometimes they get money in the mail for no reason. So this technique is so powerful. It's like, I can't even believe I'm giving it away for this price, but I want to do that for you because this is going to be so dang helpful for you. It's not even funny. All right, then module 3, we talk about emotional eating. This is where you learn my technique to push food away, even if you're right in the middle of a binge. And the coolest part is that we actually give you a little MP3, it goes on your phone, where it's me walking you through the technique. So you can pop it on anytime you have an emotional eating urge. How cool is this? Like, this was like my dream. When I was in the middle of binging and I couldn't control myself, all I wanted was an audio of somebody walking me through a technique that actually worked. Okay? I studied with Janine Roth and all that. Nothing ever worked for me. This is the only thing that has ever worked for me, and now thousands of my students agree and say the same thing. So what you'll get in this module is you'll get an audio that you can download into your smartphone, and anytime you want to binge, you just pop that on, do what I tell you to do, go through the tapping process and the visualization that I give you, and literally within 10 or 15 minutes, you will not want that food anymore. And over time, you keep using this technique more and more and more, you eliminate more and more of your emotional eating, and you'll stop eating emotionally. You'll notice that. All right, module number 4 is the Don't Clean Your Plate module. And basically what we do in this class is we have you work on the subconscious program that won't allow you to throw food away. So I don't know if you grew up with like, hey, there's starving children in Africa, or you better clean your plate, missy, or if you ever were made to like sit at the table until you were totally stuffed, or you ate the food that was on your plate. This you probably overeat now as an adult. So this module will completely reprogram that issue for you. Also in this module, you get the bonus, you get the Naturally Thin Eating Plan, which is just like, it's not a diet at all. It's just a new way of thinking, and it's a new way of, it's basically the way the naturally thin people, we deconstructed the way that naturally thin people eat. And I have a master in neurolinguistic programming, and so I talked to like 7 of my naturally skinny friends, and they basically all had the same technique. So in this module, you get that as well, and you can learn how to apply their technique, which is what NLP is all about. NLP is about learning techniques from masters that are really naturally good at what they do, and then applying it in your own life. All right, module number 5 is called the I'm Too Sexy module. And what this does is it's dealing with the subconscious fear that if you are more sexy, or if you're a smaller weight, or if you're more attractive, then you'll get more attention and your boundaries might be violated. So this shows up in a lot of different ways, and I can't tell you, I bet 80 to 90% of my students have this. I call them weight loss blockers. They have this weight loss blocker, and this is one of the most important weight loss blockers to overcome if you really want to be able to release weight and always be able to control yourself around food, subconsciously, not consciously. The last module is called Let Us Wrap It Up, and this is when we deal with that pre-verbal childhood. So if you ever were hungry as a baby, you're probably not going to remember it. But if there was ever a time that you really needed food, or you really needed love, or you really needed emotional nourishing and you didn't get it, it can cause you to want to give yourself that as an adult. Now this will be completely subconscious. You won't think like, oh, well, I didn't eat when I was a baby, so now I've got to eat something. It won't be, you won't actually know that you're doing this. But this is so common. And before we're able to talk, we also have emotional needs, and our parents can't read our minds, so they weren't always there to meet our emotional needs. So this module walks you through a very powerful process. And by the way, all of these are techniques. They're repeatable techniques, just like the one you did today, that you can keep doing over and over and over again. Okay? So like, these are tools for you to have. This is why I'm so passionate about this. I've always wanted people to be able to have actual tools that they could apply in the moment. You didn't have to come to me or one of my coaches in order to have amazing success. You could actually apply these yourself, and you're a tapper, so you like that, right? All right, so there's a whole bunch of other bonuses that I won't even go into go into talking about. It's really beautiful. I'm kind of reading the page here. Everything is done really well. We've designed it really well so that it's really easy to consume. We also have Q&A calls with me. So if you have a question about a technique, you can just pop on the phone and in a group session ask a question. We also have a private Facebook community, which is my favorite part. I'm in there every single day answering your questions. So you'll have other students that will be sharing what their process is and the things that are coming up for them, and asking questions like, hey Brittany, how do I apply this technique? You said to do this, but I did this, and you know, it didn't really work. Like, what should I do here? And so I'm always in there every day answering questions and giving you guidance as to how to apply these techniques. I promise you, if you know these techniques and you know the right way to apply them, you will never have a problem with food for the rest of your life. And how cool is that? All right, so again, this is the only time you'll see this offer. I really hope you take me up on it. This is my heart and soul. This is my life's work. I have actually studied EFT tapping for more than half my life now. So to say that I know what I'm talking about here is an understatement. I've helped thousands of women. There's about 25,000 women all over the world that follow me because I know the deepest, most advanced methods to apply to food cravings, emotional eating, weight loss, and self-sabotage. So I really, really hope that you make it. I would love to have you in this community here, and I can't wait to help you on this journey. All right, lots of love.